Hello, everyone, and welcome to TaxProTalk or hashtag
TPT.
TPT. This is the at-home edition. As you know, I'm Robbie Randall. I do have with me today Jim Buffington, CPA. Say hi, Jim.
Hey, everybody.
And Jim, if you'll introduce our special guest.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about some of the tax relief that Congress has passed related to the COVID-19 disruption that we're going through right now. And so we've asked Mike DeVolio, who is a CPA and a tax attorney, and he leads our tax development group at Intuit Pro Connect in helping distill a lot of our legislation for our programmers. So welcome, Mike.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you being on here. And man, every tax season is unique. And this one is certainly going to go down in the history books as having a whole lot of challenges. Let's start with some of the changes to the due dates for tax returns this year, because there's a lot of talk about that. Tell us where did we land on that?
Yeah, good question, Jim. So tax day now is July 15th instead of April 15th. You can still file by April 15th if you want to get those refunds, but the government basically extended everybody until July 15th. It's going to include payments without penalties and interest. So you don't just get an extension to file. You can, your payments don't have to go in until July 15th. Also, the first quarter for your 2020 estimates, those are also postponed until July 15th. A lot of people ask, well, what about my second quarter? Is it still due on June 15th? To the best of our knowledge, at this point, yes, it's still June 15th. Maybe that'll change. Some other ancillary things. You have until July 15th to make contributions to your IRA plans for 2019. Typically those go up until the due date. Yes, those are extended until July 15th as well.
There was a lot of questions on that. So let me make sure I got it. So no extensions needed, and they can file returns all the way through July 15th. And then if they still need an extension, they can still go through October. Got that?
Yes, that's correct.
Does that apply also to business returns?
Yes, both individual and business returns. You can get the natural extension on the form and get additional time. Correct.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect. And then first quarter payment is not due April 15th, but then the second quarter payment is due June 15th.
Correct.
Okay.
Nice and simple for us to follow, right?
Yeah, and then we just make our payments by July 15th if we got a liability due, and then we're back on track unless something else changes.
That's right.
Awesome. Okay.
So, Mike, if I'm getting a refund, I can go ahead and file, right? I don't have to wait.
Yep. Let it go.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that is so important because our tax professionals are a huge part of distributing a lot of this economic aid and stimulus. So tax refunds are going to be so important this year. And so you want to encourage your taxpayers to go ahead and file if they're getting refunds. So let's make sure we go ahead and help them get the cash in hand. That's going to help navigate through these next couple of challenging months because a lot of people are having cash flow issues. Anything else about the extension itself, Mike, before we kind of move on?
Yeah, just another tidbit. Most of the states are conforming at this point, but there's some that are not. And we do have that information available. If you go to our TaxPro Center, we have an article, What to Know About COVID-19. Go ahead and punch up that article and you'll be able to see not only the extension of the federal deadline, but also how the states are either conforming or not conforming. One other great resource, the IRS is doing a great job too. If you go out to the irs.gov, they have a microsite that they have stood up called IRS Coronavirus Tax Relief, and it's going to list out all the different forms of relief that's available. So two good resources for you.
Great. And so that document with all the state information, you're going to keep that updated as states continue to pass updates there?
That's correct.
Perfect. And this is very similar to what we just went through a couple of years ago with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Yeah. Seems like it was just yesterday. But again, we got a resource center that has a lot of information aggregated that we're going to update because over the next several months, there will probably be lots of updates, changes as people understand more about the law and implement it. we can continue to update those sites. So very helpful. Mike, let me ask you too, there was another piece of legislation that passed in addition to the Treasury regs around changing due dates. There was the Family First Coronavirus Response Act. Tell us what was in that.
Yeah, Jim, the FFCRA. For the most part, it provided 2 new refundable payroll tax credits for small to mid-size companies. And what they're doing is they're fully reimbursing those companies for providing COVID-19 related leave to employees. So this is basically going to enable the employer to keep their workers on the payrolls longer, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. The employees, what do they get? They receive up to 80 hours of paid sick leave. And then basically the employer gets reimbursed by the government. The second component, there's expanded paid child care leave when the employee's children's schools are closed or they need child care providers and those are unavailable. So those are the 2 big components with that.
Okay. So lots of paid leave, things that extend our Family Medical Leave Act. But this actually can be used with payroll tax credits, which is kind of an unusual thing, something that's not very common. We've already had a lot of questions from customers about when we're going to update our payroll applications that will accommodate not paying the taxes and then taking the credit for that. So do you have an update for us on that, Mike?
I don't know specifically. I know those product teams are looking at it, and I reached out to them a couple days ago, and I know things are changing. We do have a COVID-19 resource center, which will provide updates on when the products are going to get updated with those credits.
Yeah. A lot of this, we have to wait for the agencies to pass guidance and update the instructions and the forms and the deposit rules. And then we update our products from that, not necessarily from just what gets passed in the legislation or in the news. So oftentimes people are asking us before those products are maybe ready. So as soon as there is guidance and we can confidently update those, we'll get those products updated. Anything else to share about the FFCRA Act, Mike?
I think I covered it pretty well. There's also a little provision I'll allude to here. Employers with fewer than 50 employees are eligible for an exemption from these requirements or from the requirement to provide leave to care for a child if the school is closed or the child is unavailable or the child care is unavailable in cases where the viability of the business is threatened. So there is that exemption for the small employers with less than 50 employees.
Okay. All right. Well, great. And I'm sure that over the next few months and things, we'll learn more and get more guidance on a lot of these acts, and we'll be rolling out probably more education, maybe some webinars here in the near future, Mike.
Yes. In fact, we are looking at recording a webinar, and it will subsequently be made available to you, and we'll run through all these provisions and also cover the impact to your practice as well as your clients. So look more to come on that one.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And then Robbie, if customers or people watching this want to get more information, where can they find that?
Absolutely. Look in the notes below. We've got plenty of links down there for you to help you out.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of TaxProTalk, and thank you for joining us and watching TaxProTalk or hashtag TPT.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching TaxProTalk, brought to you by Intuit Pro Connect for tax and accounting professionals.